The world of Japanese and raw selvage denim is very complex. It's definitely one of the most complicated niches in menswear, and it's almost like this niche has its own language, throwing around terms like sanforized, unsanforized, chain stitch, straight stitch, flat felled, serge, double stitch, triple stitch, riveting, button fly, zip fly, buckle back, selvage ID, and so many more. It gets really complicated, and it can definitely be a little hard to understand, especially for someone who's really just into denim and isn't necessarily a menswear nerd or isn't really into men's style like that and just likes good quality, long-lasting clothes. Or there are some people who just like raw denim and really don't care about the rest of menswear. A lot of these terms can go over your head because the raw selvage denim jean is one of the most complex menswear garments that you could ever own. Coupling all these terms with the unpredictability of raw selvage denim and how it's going to turn out over time, it can definitely be a little daunting for someone who's just getting into it. But us denim heads want to welcome everybody into the beautiful world that is raw selvage denim with open arms, and we want to be able to provide and share all the knowledge that we've amassed, so this way those newcomers don't have to go through the struggles that we went through. This way you don't waste any time, you don't waste any money, you save yourself on disappointment, and ultimately you get a beautiful, good fitting pair of jeans that is going to last you a long time. So with that being said, let's start off with the raw denim fade terms, because there are a lot of terms for the different fades that denim ensues, and all of them have different meanings, different looks, and they have a lot to do with the fit of the denim, the color, how many times the denim has been dipped, the cotton, the slub, the tension, all of these things. So with that being said, here are the raw denim fade terms that you should know. Starting off with the easiest and probably the most synonymous fade with raw denim, the whiskering. Basically, whiskering happens at the top block of the jean in the front panel where your torso meets your legs, and basically those creases when you sit, when you bend, over time they're going to abrade against each other, they're going to rub up, they're going to fade, and depending on how loose or how tight your jeans are, these whiskers can actually be a lot tighter than usual, or they can be a lot looser than usual, because the looser that you have your jeans, the less whiskering you're going to have, and the tighter you have your jeans, the more whiskering you're going to have, and the faster the whiskering is going to show up and fade down. The whiskering is definitely one of the prides and joys of the raw denim head community, because that's basically the very first thing that you see, and the whiskering is definitely going to be the part that shows up the most because it definitely endures the most fading, and basically is going to be the pinnacle of the higher contrast, or for those who don't know what high contrast fading is, the ratio from the darker denim to the lighter denim. And this is basically how you show off the age, how you show off the fading, the life of the jean that it's had. Next up, we got honeycombing, which is my personal favorite fade, and it always has been. Basically, honeycombing is a fade at the back of the knees and also on the sides of the knees that is encompassed over time with bending, with seating, and just overall labor and abrasion. And this is one of the most stress points besides the whiskering on the denim, because it definitely gets the most pressure and the most stress, and over time the honeycombing can look absolutely insane. This is one of the hardest fades for pre-washed denim to fake, because the honeycombing really follows the natural bend patterns of your legs, and it also really takes a three-dimensional shape because of that creasing, which an otherwise pre-washed denim really just can't replicate. And just like the whiskering, the tighter the jean, the tighter the honeycombing is going to be, and the looser the jean, the looser the honeycombing is going to be. I've seen wicked honeycombs that provide such a crazy high contrast look, and I've seen very subtle honeycombs that look almost reminiscent of the old Levi's 501s, and either way both look beautiful, and there's a place for both of them in the community. And it's all about what you want, it's all about your lifestyle, what you put your jeans through, and your honeycombing can definitely be worn as a badge of honor. Next up, we got the roping or the roped hem, and this is also one of my favorite fades. I always go back and forth between this one and the honeycombs, because I feel like any jean that has a really good roping, whether it's faded throughout the rest of the jean or not, I think has a really high quality and expensive look. So the roping to me is probably the most important, but the honeycombing to me is probably the most aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, so the roping is basically caused by the way that the hem is actually sewn. So there's this whole myth out there that chain stitching, which is primarily only done on a union special, due to the special stitching and the way that it's actually constructed, actually provides a certain amount of tension that allows the jean to kind of fade at the hem in a certain type of way. Now the thing is, I've never put this to the test and compared a straight stitched hem to a chain stitched hem over time, but I can definitely say that I do see a very beautiful diagonal line that seems to be caused by the tension of the weave. But yeah, basically any chain stitched hem is going to fade and provide this kind of very streaky, just absolutely gorgeous gorgeous kind of hem, and it also just provides that depth, that character that people who really don't want to cuff their jeans are really looking for out of their denim. Roping to me can literally make or break a jean, because if your jean is not cuffed, you're gonna notice the hem, and if it doesn't look good, it doesn't matter how high contrast your jeans are, the hem has to be expertly done and it has to look clean. Next up we have train tracking, which is a really interesting one because it's really not exactly a fade, it's more of like the inverse of fading, because train tracking is actually referring to how much of the indigo color actually has remained on the outseam of the denim on the fabric above the Selvedge ID. And yes, there are a lot of fade marks there, but you really wouldn't see them as much as you do without the fact that there's so much indigo that is literally kept there because of that layer of fabric, ultimately resulting in that kind of streaky train tracking that falls throughout the whole entire length of the outseam of the denim. And this to me is one of my new favorites. I never really noticed it before until someone brought it up to me, but I definitely love the way that this looks, and I love the way that it looks especially on more lighter washed or stone washed denim, because it's so very pronounced and it gives that really expensive character to the jeans that you really otherwise just don't see on pre-washed denim. Basically, there's no real way to kind of speed up or accentuate the train tracking, so it is definitely one of the most honest fading patterns that you could get on your jeans, and the only real way to make it more pronounced is to just wash your jeans more often. Guys, please wash your jeans. Please wash them. Next up we have the seat fade, which is also a part on the jean that really endures a lot of abrasion, and basically the seat refers to the top block of the back panel, basically your ass, and this is gonna fade over time very harsh, because if you sit a lot or if you just give a lot of wear to the jeans, this part of the jean is probably gonna endure the most stress besides the whiskering, and this is one of the parts that actually is prone to ripping quicker than any other part on the jean besides the inside of the crotch, which we will talk about. So basically you want to make sure, and you really want to monitor this part, that there's no holes, there's no pulls, that the denim isn't getting too worn there without washing, because the longer that you prolong your washing, the more prone that the jeans are to ripping. Denim needs water, cotton needs water to survive. The bacteria, the grime, the dirt, the sweat, it's all going to get embedded into the fiber, and eventually it's going to rip, it's going to deteriorate, and the only way to get around that and prolong the life of your jean is to literally just wash your jeans. So this is definitely one of those parts that you really have to pay attention to, because this can literally be the difference between a jean that's going to last you a long time or a jean that's going to rip on you very quickly. Now the next part that I want to talk about is the inside of the thighs, and basically I've seen people call this chevrons, I've seen heddles call them chevrons, and truth be told, I'm not entirely sure if the term chevron is universally known in the raw denim community, because I just started seeing it mad random, but basically it refers to the lines on the inside of the thigh as opposed to the whiskering, which is more on the top of the thigh. Now the thing is, this is also a very important place to monitor, because this is probably the second most prone to ripping part of your jean without wash, without proper care, because there is so much abrasion when you bend right on the inside of your crotch, and I've seen people who haven't washed their jeans for just a year completely rip out their jeans on the inside of the thigh. And the thing is, you have to wash your jeans. The only way to prolong the life of your jean is you have to wash them. And basically this part of the jean rips so often that it's actually got its own term, and this is the last raw denim term that we're going to talk about, and that is the all too well known crotch blowout. I like to equate the crotch blowout to the red ring of death of the Xbox 360, if you guys remember those days. Basically, if you get it, you're done. It's over. There's no saving it. You need a new pair of jeans, and it could have easily been avoided if you just cleaned your jeans, if you just cleaned your denim. Basically, I always recommend the moment that you start to feel weird wearing your jeans, you gotta wash them. They're gonna fade after you wash them. Don't be worried. Don't be afraid of washing your denim. It's gonna be okay. They're meant to be washed, but you really don't want a crotch blowout, because it will ruin your day and it will ruin your denim. So with that being said, wash your jeans, monitor your jeans, make sure they're clean, and the moment that you start to see something ripping, make sure to send it to a professional, so this way they can actually fix it in whatever way they see fit. So this way you have a really nice long-lasting pair of jeans that is always gonna love you back. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've wanted to make this video for a really long time, and I'm so happy that now I have an audience that's big enough to really be able to help people who are just getting into this, because I really want to provide guidance for those who are confused, who have no idea what raw Selvedge denim is, and I just really love the questions, the support, the suggestions, and everything that all of you guys have been giving me. The communication is one of my favorite parts about doing this YouTube stuff. I meet so many great people and we share so much wonderful knowledge, and I just love sharing it all with you. I have some really big plans coming in the future. I'm in the talks with a couple of people, and hopefully these things pan out. I'm starting to meet more and more people, not only in the raw denim community, but also in the menswear community as a whole. And I don't want to say anything yet, but I want to see if I could start doing collab videos with some of my favorite creators. So I'm definitely going to try working on that, and I'm not going to name any specifics because I don't want to jinx it, but definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next week.